Let's see. Let's see. All right. Okay, I see we are live. Okay, welcome everyone to episode 880 of the Black Brain Trust. This is Black Cannabis Talk. We're going to talk phytoremediation and the endocannabinoid system. Yeah, we're going to kind of go a little uh, technical or nerdish, I guess you could say, um, on this particular episode. So I would like to welcome you all. Let me make sure I'm getting things in order. Let me do this. Hold on. Hold on. Everyone. All right. I'm trying to make sure I get it all together here. All right, before I get into some stuff. And press on, and it's okay. All right. And if I can get a 420, if the sound and music is okay, if everything's all good, let me know. I see Emmanuel Briggs is in the house. Salute, bro. How you doing, man? Yeah, I kind of been sparse around these parts. uh, a lot of happenings and goings on with the scooter biz. You guys will be seeing some stuff about that here in the week coming up. And then today, which is what led into tonight's live stream, my daughter and I went over to Lowe's and we picked up some gardening supplies and what have you. So let's see, we've got some strawberries in a pot. We've got I got a sweet and purple basil bush. So we're taking the two varieties and sticking them in one pot, right? So we've got a basil bush going. We got, what else did we get? We bought a dragon fruit cutting. So we're gonna grow a dragon fruit tree. Um, what else was it? There's some tomatoes. Got some heirloom variety tomatoes. Put those in pots, and then I got some really big pots, and I planted a Granddaddy Purple Kush and a Tequila Sunrise. So those are the two cannabis strains we're growing for this grow season. So we're gonna do a garden vlog for this year. Right, we're gonna bring that to the Brain Trust this year, and there's a couple more things we got to plant. We got some. I forgot what kind of carrots they're called. They're like the different color carrots. So we're gonna do those in a pot. We're gonna do a lettuce pot, and we're gonna try watermelon. We just have not been successful with watermelon over these past couple of grow seasons, so we're gonna try it again this year. So that's what we got, man. We went and did that. We planted most of it today and got all the pots together and stuff. So you guys will see what's up with that. But all of that being said, that is what is leading into this evening's conversation about phytoremediation. Okay, 420. I got a 420. All right. Okay, right on. Just picked up on the community garden out here. I'm trying to go. That's what's up, man. Good stuff, Emmanuel. Good stuff, man. Yeah, you get your green thumb on, bro. Got to get your green thumb on, man. Okay. So, with all that being said, what is phytor mediation? Right, we're gonna talk about that. Okay. Let me go ahead and do this. Boom. And this is from Wiki. Here, let me drop the link. Well, the links are in the actual. I put the links in the description, so the links to all this stuff is there. But we're going to talk about phytor mediation because what that essentially is that is the plant's ability to actually remove impurities from soil. And so we're going to kind of cover what that is, and then we're going to look at a use case A lot of people don't know this, but hemp was used to remove radiation from the soil in Chernobyl. And I want to say it was something to the tune of 300 hectaacres was planted. It was a massive amount of hemp that was uh, that was planted. And it was a conversation I had with my daughter yesterday, which led to all of this. So this was kind of shout outs to my baby cakes. She's kind of the inspiration for tonight's live stream. But let's get into it. Phytoremediation. Phytoremediation technologies use living plants to clean up soil, air, and water contaminated with hazardous contaminants. It is defined as the use of green plants and the associated microorganisms, along with proper soil amendments and agronomic techniques to either contain, remove, or render toxic environmental contaminants harmless. The term is is amalgam of the Greek phyto, plant, and Latin remedium, restoring balance. Okay, that's we're going to talk about the endocannabinoid system next, right? So all this connects. But just remember that, put a pin on that, restoring balance. Although attractive for its cost, phytoremediation has not been demonstrated to redress any significant environmental challenge to the extent that contaminated space has been reclaimed. Phytoremediation is proposed as a cost-effective plant-based approach of environmental remediation that takes advantage of the ability of plants to concentrate elements and compounds from the environment and to detoxify various compounds. Now, it may get into this, but there is a form of that that's done in the agricultural sector. So what you do is like there's like depending on what you're growing, like the growth season is short. It might only be like 3 or 4 months, right? And so let's just say you grow onions, for example, right? So after you grow onions, you grow, I think, watermelons, right? Because what the onions take away and then leave in the soil is good for watermelons or something like that, right? And then after the watermelons grow, because of what it is that they take away and what they put in, you grow cotton next during like the winter season. And then what that does is that replenishes the soil back to the point where you started all over again, right? So there is also a technique of rotating your crops based on a phytoremediation type of concept. It may go into that. Let's see. The concentrating effect results from the ability of certain plants called hyperaccumulators to bioaccumulate chemicals. The remediation effect is quite different. Toxic heavy metals cannot be degraded, but organic pollutants can and are generally the major targets for phytoremediation. Several field trials confirm the feasibility of using plants for environmental cleanup, which is what we will get to in the next article. Okay. Soil remediation is an expensive and complicated process. Traditional methods involve removal of the contaminated soil, followed by the treatment and the return of treated soil. Phytoremediation could, in principle, be a more cost effective solution. Phytoremediation may be applied to polluted soil or a static water environment. This technology has been increasingly investigated and employed at sites with soils contaminated with heavy metals like cadmium, lead, aluminum, arsenic, and actinium. These metals can cause oxidative stress in plants, destroy cell membrane integrity, interfere with nutrient uptake, inhibit photosynthesis, and decrease plant chlorophyll. Phytomediation has been used successfully. Has been used successfully. Wait, that's a typo. Phytomediation has been used successfully. Include That's a typo right there. Wow, Wiki, come on, get it together. Uh, the restoration of abandoned metal mine workings and sites where polychlorinated biphenyls have been dumped during manufacture and mitigation of ongoing coal mine discharges, reducing the impact of contaminants in soils, water, or air. dude, you guys gotta write this correctly. Contaminants such as metals, pesticides, solvents, explosives, and crude oil and its derivatives have been mitigated in phytomediation projects worldwide. Many plants, such as mustard plants, alpine pennycress, hemp, which is what we're going to be covering, right? And pigweed have been proven to be successful at hyperaccumulating contaminants as toxic at toxic waste sites. They use pigweed when you have like oil spills and stuff, or like those chemical spills in water. That's what they use pigweed for. Because sorry, grow season. I was outside, and okay, allergies. They're starting to bug me. But check it out, right? Pigweed. That's something that ducks eat also, right? So, but pigweed is good at cleaning water. Algae is good at cleaning water as well. Not all plants are able to accumulate heavy metals or organic pollutants due to differences in physiology of the plant. Even cultivars within the same species have varying abilities to accumulate pollutants. And we will briefly go over the advantages and limitations. Advantages. The cost of phytoremediation is lower than that of traditional processes, both in situ and ex situ. Do not know what that means. The possibility of the recovery and reuse of valuable metals by companies specializing in phytomining. Now, that is some shit right there. When I was kind of digging around doing my research on this, so phytomining is that you recover the metals from the plants that hyperaccumulated them, right? See, so the plants actually absorb them, and then what you do is you mine the plants for the fucking metals. It's insane. Do you guys remember? I think it was X-Men. I don't remember which one it was, but when I don't that one chick who could like shapeshift or whatever. Like she put something in this dude's drink and it had like little metallic balls, and then what's his name? Not Professor X, but the other guy, Magneto. He was able to then coalesce the metals that the guy ingested, right? He pulled the metals out of him, and then he destroyed that plexiglass prison that he was in. I know that sounds crazy, but phyto mining is kind of like the same sort of thought process, right? You're literally extracting the metals out of like an organic body of some type. In this case, we're talking plants, right? It's insane. It preserves the topsoil, maintaining the fertility of the soil, increase soil health, yield, and plant phytochemicals. The use of plants also reduces erosion and metal leaching in the soil. Limitations. Phytoremediation is limited to the surface area and depth occupied by the roots. This is true because we'll get into the whole thing with Chernobyl, right? Why it only removed 40%. With plant-based systems of remediation, it is not possible to completely prevent the leaching of contaminants into the groundwater. This is true also. The survival of the plants is affected by the toxicity of the contaminated land and the general condition of the soil. Bioaccumulation of contaminants, especially metals, into the plants can affect consumer products like food and cosmetics and requires the safe disposal of the affected plant material. When taking up heavy metal, sometimes the metal is bound to the soil organic matter, which makes it unavailable for the plant to extract. So, there are some advantages and limitations to phytoremediation. Sorry about that. However, what we are looking at here is what this is in concept, right? And how hemp was used to remove radiation from Chernobyl. So let me check to see if there's any questions or anything in the chat before we go to that article. Allergies are vicious. Got the neti pot. Yeah, I need to do that myself, man. I do. I need a neti pot myself. Yeah. All right. Okay. This is from Cincy Seeds, and for those of you guys who don't know, Cincy Seeds, um, for the longest time they've been selling like seeds through mail. I think back in the day, I tried to order some seeds from them and I never got them. That was when you had to like mail the stuff, and you see how they say like, discreet packaging and all that. Yeah, yeah. I tried my hand at trying to get some seeds, and to no avail. Hmm. But I am drinking some alkaline water right now, so I'm trying to do a little bit of a flush, so to speak. All right. Hemp and the decontamination of radioactive soil. So now this goes in line with what we just covered in terms of phytoremediation, right? So we're going to talk about what was done at Chernobyl. And for those of y'all that don't know, Chernobyl was a there was a meltdown at the Chernobyl site in the Ukraine, I believe. That's where it was located. It was one of the worst meltdowns. I think Fukushima was worse, but this one was bad nonetheless. Hemp science is now advancing in leaps and bounds compared to the stagnation of the previous few decades. One significant area of research that is currently receiving particular attention is phytoremediation, or decontamination of soil. Although the fact that hemp decontaminates soil has been known for some time. Oh, really? For almost 2 decades, industrial hemp growing in environs of the abandoned Chernobyl nuclear plant in Pripyat, Ukraine, has been helping to reduce soil toxicity. In 1990, just 4 years after the initial explosion, so that was in '86, the Soviet administration of the time requested that the International Atomic Energy Agency assess the environmental situation. In a 30-kilometer exclusion zone surrounding Chernobyl, high concentrations of various toxic metals, including lead, cesium 137, strontium 90, and plutonium, were found in the soil, as well as in the tissues of plants and animals. In response, it was decided that a concerted effort to reduce soil contamination through the use of beneficial plants would be undertaken. This process, known as phytoremediation, was implemented almost immediately. Well, look at that right there. Ooh, you know what kind of plant that is. Look at that beautiful hemp plant. Which plants are useful in phytoremediation? Various plants have been utilized in Chernobyl for their ability to take up specific contaminants. Two brassica varieties to remove chromium, lead, copper, and nickel, maize to take up lead. Various studies have demonstrated that the excellent lead uptake capability of this important crop, and more importantly, sunflower and hemp. That's the other plant that I heard is really good at cleaning soil is sunflowers. Sorry, you guys. Allergies are starting to make themselves known. They're saying hello. Sunflower plantings began in 1996, subsequent to the development of a variety that promised unheard of efficiency in decontamination. Hemp plantings soon followed in 1998. Slavit Deshenkov, a research scientist with Phytotech, one of the organizations behind the hemp planting, stated that hemp is proving to be one of the best remediative plants we have been able to find. Find? It's always been here, bro. Well, I don't know about the Ukraine, but shit in Cali, man, it's all out here. As well as in Ukraine, rural areas in neighboring Belarus were affected by the Chernobyl incident. Authorities there have also considered the use of hemp as a decontaminant. However, it is not clear if any programs involving hemp were ever implemented. Where is where else is hemp used in phytoremediation? In Puglia, Italy, industrial hemp is used on a wide scale to assist in the decontamination of some of Europe's most polluted soils. The Ilva Street plant, the largest of its kind in Europe, has poisoned local soil, plants, animals, and human residents for decades with its toxic emissions. Within a 20-kilometer radius of the plant, grazing livestock is prohibited. Damn, animals can't even eat anything in a 20-mile radius of this place, yet there's people living there? Good grief. Since 2012, when the extent of the crisis became apparent, farmers have planted millions of cannabis plants in an effort to decontaminate the soil. In that time, the local area of hemp cultivation has increased from 3 to 300 hectares. Around 100 a hectare, by the way, is a block. I think it's like 10 by 10. So you take 10 by 10, 10 acres by 10 acres, that's 1 hectare. If I'm not mistaken, that's what a hectare is. Around 100 farmers are growing hemp, and the movement has even proved to be an economic stimulus. Of course, it's weed. A new hemp processing plant has opened to convert the harvest into fiber for clothing and construction. So the plants soak up all this toxic shit, and then they're gonna make clothes out of it for you to wear. No, that's a joke. I'm sorry. Since the devastating Fukushima, and I'm gonna have to blow my nose in a second. God damn it! There's some tissue around here. I'm gonna have to go grab some. Okay. Since the devastating Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant accident in 2011, there have been calls for Japan to implement hemp phytoremediation. However, due to the cannabis control law forced into Japanese law by the occupying U.S. powers in 1940, what the fuck? So you mean to tell me after the Japanese fell to the US in World War II, one of the laws that they forced on Japan was a cannabis control law? That is random as fuck. Why did they do that? I that's a whole that's a live stream right there. What the hell? Huh. Okay. Well, okay. So they're prohibited to do it. So hemp may only be grown under license, and these are highly restricted and difficult to find and obtain. Really? A few months after the incident, Fukushima residents began to plant millions of sunflowers field field mustard and amaranth in an attempt to soak up cesium and other toxins from the soil. The Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency also began an experimental project involving sunflowers in 2011, and various projects since have investigated algae. Remember, I was just saying a minute ago, algae does it. Buckwheat, spinach for their uptake abilities. That's why Popeye he'd eat spinach and then get all crazy for a minute, is because he was eating radioactive spinach. But it seems that hemp has not been utilized to date. Well, no shit, because of this right up here, which is that's going to be a live stream coming up. God damn it, this is really not the time for my allergies to really flare up. Give me 1 second, you guys.
Now I'm wearing my crown. They got to stick around to be no clown, you know. As I Prince Jasmine would say, I play my this with this away. This song will come on down. This song will play. Yeah!
All right, had to blow my nose. Where is my inhaler? Yeah, I use an inhaler.
I wanna know how long
Okay,
you want to keep me down.
jeez.
But you are the one,
All right.
brother.
All right.
You must
There's
always
extensive
never.
research into the ability of hemp to act as a remediator. An Italian study published in Plant and Soil in 2003 showed that hemp had the ability to absorb cadmium, chromium, and nickel from soil, and that high concentrations of the heavy metals had little effect on the plant morphology. Basically, it just
Say.
ate that. It was just like, it's like, bring me more, give me more. Like, I ain't tripping. In fact, an increase in phyto phytocollagen and DNA content was observed during development of the hemp plant, suggesting ability to avoid cell damage by activating different molecular mechanisms. Okay, we're gonna repeat that because we're gonna get into the endocannabinoid system next. Like I said, this is kind of a nerd out session on this shit.
Some
Give me a
people
second.
rise. So young lovers just
Okay.
come on down and fight sometimes. Some say, you know.
In fact, an increase in phytocollagen and DNA content was observed during development of the hemp plants, suggesting ability to avoid cell damage by activating different molecular mechanisms. Very interesting. In 2005, a German study published in Biologia Plantarum concluded that hemp was unaffected by root concentrations of cadmium as high as 800 milligrams per kilogram, but that leaf and stem concentrations of 50 to 100 milligrams per kilogram had a strong effect on plant viability and vitality. This study also noted that soil pH affected the rate of cadmium uptake. In 2010, a Chinese study investigated 8 crops, including hemp, for their ability to uptake zinc. Zinc is a heavy metal that is beneficial in trace amounts but potentially phytotoxic at higher concentrations. According to this study, all crops except sunflower could grow quite well under 400 to 800 milligrams per kilogram of zinc stress. Hemp showed small inhibitions in plant growth, indicating a strong tolerance to high zinc concentrations. Give me mo, Simo. Transgenic hemp varieties for phytoremediation. More recently, a Pakistani study published in 2015 identified several genes in hemp associated with tolerance of heavy metals, including nickel, cadmium, and copper. These results may assist in the development of transgenic hemp varieties with improved ability to uptake metals. The use of genetically modified hemp in phytoremediation projects may not be without precedent. Ugh, genetically modified. I don't like that. In 2017, the University of Virginia announced a collaboration with a biotechnology company known as 22nd Century. What the fuck? Which has developed proprietary hemp plants that are particularly well suited for use in phytoremediation. You just have to wonder about companies like that. How long have you guys been doing this shit? How do you anyway? The biotechnology company involved with the Chernobyl company used specially selected and engineered plants. Engineered, you say? Although there appears to be little information available regarding the development of the hemp varieties used. Obviously, they're not going to say anything about that because they are genetically engineering these shits to do just that. And what they want to do is patent the DNA strain. Where you could, we talked about this like a couple years ago. Mike brought this shit up where, and engineering cannabis also did too, where basically you can put your own strain on the blockchain to authenticate it. Yeah. They broke the shit down, dude. It was some crazy stuff. But see, this would be the reason why there's very little information available because they're especially selecting it and engineering the shit. So I'm not going to tell you. It is not clear whether these varieties were developed through marker assisted breeding. Now, um, I want to say I've talked about that in previous live streams about breeding strains of cannabis. Like we're talking literally like you get a male, you get a female, you take the pollen, and you do this thing called Planned Parenthood, where you might just take like a few bud sites off of one plant. You put a little colored ribbon so you know which ones you're pollinating, and then you take those seeds, and then with that, you start separating seed quality, characteristics, and all that, and then you can start to parse out the characteristics of various. because not every time, even though you get plants, seeds from these plants, they're not each seed is still different. It's like when you have kids, right? You know, you have a couple kids, they don't look exactly the same as each other, right? There's variation in your kids. Same with seeds. So marker assisted breeding is that, or it says, or truly transgenic. Now, that's grafting right here, involving the transfer of genes from one organism to another. That's like grafting, for example. So so instead of doing it through breeding, you're basically taking a cutting of this one, and then you're gonna snip this one, and you're gonna basically put the two together. And then what happens is you get a transfer of genes, right? Because what happens is that the fibers of the two plants fuse together. Okay, and that's where you get that, right? And the majority of weed that's grown and sold in shops nowadays, they basically graft the shit together. There's not a lot of marker assisted breeding going on nowadays, which sucks. That's why I like to grow my own shit. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Had to blow my nose again. Let me see if there's any questions or anything. Probably not, but let's see. Oh, well, let's take a look. Zone, potheads, yeah. What up, Spawn? Okay, so y'all up in here nerding out with me tonight. Okay, that's what's good. That's what's up. Yeah. You know what? You said try allergy desensitization. Man, I don't know. You know what I try to do, man? I try to just kombucha it. Matter of fact, after I finish reading this, I'll just kind of take a quick break. I'm gonna go grab. I have some mushroom kombucha I need to be drinking right now. That's really what I need to be sipping on. Uh, don't do that. Don't do that. Get out of there, Spawn. Get out of there. Get all the way out of there, bro. All right, let me go back to. Okay. How can hemp how can hemp from contaminated soil sites be safely used? In 2012, a Romanian study investigated the nutritional safety of hemp seed produced from plants grown in soils containing cadmium, magnesium, iron, and various other metals. The study found that five distinct Romanian hemp strains developed different nutritional profiles according to the uptake of the various metals in the soil. Ominously, all varieties also tested above the safe legal limit for cadmium. Wait a minute. How did they fucking determine a safe legal limit for a goddamn soft metal? What is I need to literally know what that limit is, and then like if you go over it, what the fuck happens, right? Because it's like, okay, you go one notch below it, as if, right? Safe legal limit. That is crazy. Despite the soil testing within the. Wait a minute. Hold on. All varieties also tested above the safe legal limit for cadmium, despite the soil testing within the safe limit. That would suggest that the hemp is taking all that shit out of the soil. That's what that means. Levels were particularly high in Armanca and Sylvana strains. Never heard of those. Okay. Cadmium is a toxic heavy metal that can cause various serious health complications. Excessive dietary intake can lead to joint and bone deformities, respiratory illness, anemia, and kidney failure. And they're going to talk about a fucking safe legal limit? Get out. Did you hear this shit? Look at this. What? There's no such thing as a safe legal limit if it leads to this type of shit. However, in 2009, another Chinese study showed that cadmium concentration was 25 to 29.5 times higher in the roots of hemp compared to the shoots. Interesting. Suggesting the plant can be classified as a CD excluder, a cadmium excluder. What? Thus, even if hemp used to remove cadmium from contaminated soil is unsafe for consumption, its fiber can still be useful for textile and construction applications. What the fuck? Okay, so hemp has like this um weird type of intelligence, something rather, right? Because remember, uh early on in this article, it said something to the effect. Where did it say that? It was up here. It said that right here, right? The DNA content observed during the development of the hemp plant suggesting ability to avoid cell damage by activating different molecular mechanisms. Like I said, dude, this plant has a different type of intelligence, man. This is crazy. Okay. Okay. Well, here we go. Here's what we'll do. I think I should have this linked in the description, but if I don't, because I really feel some allergy shit coming on, so I want to just finish this up before it literally goes haywire. I need to go take some Benny drills here. I'll post it. Really interesting stuff, man. There you go. Zone said there is a safe legal limit of virus and bacteria in your drinking water. I know, and that's just kind of like not cool. You know what I'm saying? You said, do I have a Caribbean background? Nah, man, I got a California background, homie. No, actually, I've a California background by way of Texas, Arizona, Louisiana, and Missouri. That is my background. However, um, I'm a huge dub reggae and all that. Dude, I'm a music junkie, dude. I listen to everything. So that's what you're hearing. You're hearing some heavy, heavy dubs. Okay, you're hearing some heavy dubs. All right, so look, check this out. I'm gonna step away for a minute. I'm gonna go grab my uh, mushroom kombucha, uh, and I'm gonna go blow my nose, dude. Cause damn, this is killing me right now. Hold on a second. Alkaline water is good water, man. I gotta tell you. Hold on a second.
Rhythms of the universe, rocketing out of the first groove and wailing right on time. Rhythms falling from a cosmic sky.
All right. Shit.
Rhythms so beautiful.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a quick intermission. Let me do this right here.
Put away aggression and make it peace and love.
Okay. Intermission is in order because allergies are on fleek.
Hear from your loved ones.
However, um, we're gonna do this
From the sky.
for just a second,
Reach out for eye and eye.
and yeah, let me just like kind of get my wits about myself, and let me get the next piece of readings together. Okay, there we go. Wait, yeah, there we go. All right, give me a second, y'all, and I will be right back.
Madrid rules the station. In every nation, DJ's my occupation. Scene.
Lord, I me say one make she want some boy, yo. Come me say one make she want some Lord. Come me say one make she want some boy, yo. Come me say one make she want some. You say she a want some beer. Jaman me never know say as so she really stay. Jaman am say me he say she a want some way. Jaman me never know say as so she really stay. Come me say tell me where you want out of life. Come and say tell me where you want out of life. After me take you off a stick and make you turn me wife. Me give you everything just to make you survive. You follow next girl and I take peer bribe. Now you a mash up me love life. Lord, now she a mash up me love life. Boy, now she a mash up
All
me
right, all right,
love
all right. We
life.
are back.
Come and say one
Okay,
make she
let me
want
just
some
crack this
Lord.
kombucha
Hold
open.
on. Come and say one make she
There we
want
go.
some boy.
If you guys know, if you ever heard of this stuff, it's called Alive, Ancient Mushroom Elixir. It's called GT's Alive, Ancient Mushroom Elixir. This is the ginger and turmeric. This is, dude, this stuff is amazing. I've never heard of a mushroom elixir, but damn, this is some good stuff. Oh yeah, yep, that's hitting. That is hitting right now. All right, whew. All right, let's get to it. Endocannabinoid system. Y'all ready for this? All right, let's go. The endocannabinoid system, ECS, is a biological system composed of endocannabinoids, which are endogenous lipid based retrograde neurotransmitters that bind to cannabinoid receptors. Now, the first thing that this is sort of inferring or implying is that cannabinoids interact directly with our biology. And when I say our, I'm talking about human biology and mammalia or mammals as a, was it a genus? I think that's what it is. Is that a phylum or a genus? I don't remember which one it is, but mammals basically, right? So essentially, all mammals have an endocannabinoid system. That's why catnip works on cats, CBD works on dogs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? That's why all basically mammals, if they eat weed, they get high. All right. And cannabinoid receptor proteins that are expressed through the vertebrae central nervous system, including the brain, right? And peripheral nervous system. The endocannabinoid system remains under preliminary research. Sure, it does. But may be involved in regulating physiological and cognitive processes, including fertility, pregnancy, pre and postnatal development, various activity of immune system, appetite, pain sensation, mood, and memory, and mediating the pharmacological effects of cannabis. Well, I would dare say that cannabis activates all of these things right here. But see, that who am I, right? I'm just a weed smoker, right? I only like explain to you utilizing like a chakra chart, right? A chakra chart, right? Which essentially is sort of like a visual that I use for the endocannabinoid system. So I would actually say it works in the reverse. Cannabis uses the okay vis-a-vis the pharmacological effects regulates all of these things. It's the other way around, right? And even with the whole fertility, pregnancy, pre and postnatal development, listen, let me tell you something, man. I don't know what these chicks are out here like popping on and what they're doing and all this type of stuff when they really should be on some weeds, right? To really deal with all of these types of things to regulate themselves, because cannabinoids deal directly with the endocannabinoid system, which directly deals with this shit right here. Okay. The ECS plays an important role in multiple aspects of neural functions, including the control of movement and motor coordination, learning, and memory. Now, I've also said that cannabis is a performance enhancer in so many words, right? So, motor movement and motor coordination, learning and memory, emotion and motivation, addictive like behavior, and pain modulation, among others. Pain modulation. What do they use CBD for? Hmm. Two primary cannabinoid receptors have been identified: CB1, first cloned or isolated in 1990, and CB2, cloned ugh, in 1993. CB1 receptors are found predominantly in the brain and nervous system, as well as in the peripheral organs and tissues, and are the main molecular target of the endogenous partial agonist anandamide, as well as exogenous tetrahydrocannabinol. The most known active component of cannabis, for those of y'all that don't know, that is THC. Endocannabinoid 2, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, which was found to be 2 and 3 orders of magnitude more abundant in mammalian brain. What was I telling you guys? Right? Mammalian brain than anandamide. Anandamide acts as a full agonist for both CB receptors. The endocannabinoid system is sometimes referred to as the cannabidome or expanded endocannabinoid system. Okay, that's a long ass word. Not even gonna lie. All right, so I wanted to give this kind of like a brief sort of touch on what the endocannabinoid system is, because I have another article I'm going to read before I close this out, and that is from High Times. It's appropriate, right? Let me get a swig of the kombucha. Hold on. Oh, you know what? Before I get into this, let me check the chat. Oh my God, this stuff is so good. Again, it's called GT's Alive Ancient Mushroom Elixir, and it is the ginger turmeric mushroom elixir. If you go to you go into the grocery store, they usually have like that little refrigerator thing where they have like all of like the kombuchas and the small little ginger shots and stuff. You'll find this stuff there. They also have a root beer that's really good. It's like a mushroom root beer. I know it sounds crazy, but try it. It's really good. I've been on some shroom stuff lately, so because I made some mushroom burgers early last week. Yeah, yeah, shrooms is my jam right now. Okay, the endocannabinoid system. What nobody is actively discussing. Oh, no, we are tonight. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do this. Okay. Spawn, you said so. GMO government weed or the one from the street? Shut up, Zone. Okay, let's get to it. What is the role of the endocannabinoid system? Is it a valid science, and why should we care? Well, we already messed with the wiki on this, so we already put one of those questions to rest. But let's see what High Times has to say. Perhaps nobody seems to care about the endocannabinoid system because it is a complex microcosmic community, a community that potentially encapsulates something much bigger than science can easily explain. Research has shown that the ECS metaphorically represents a microcosmic group of organisms. Okay, here, you guys want me to explain give well here. I'll give you this is what I this is my explanation of the endocannabinoid system in short. Let's take what this just said right here, right? The ECS metaphorically represents a microcosmic group of organisms. So that means that it is a governor of systems, various organisms, right? It oversees and manages all of them. Per the wiki, right? We'll just go back to that real quick. Think about all the stuff that it said. The endocannabinoid system remains under preliminary research, but may be involved in regulating physiological and cognitive processes, including yada 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 yada. Right? So, what does this mean? Let's use a computer, right? Since this is the brain trust, let's use a computer as a metaphor, right? So you have software, right? You have hardware, and then you have firmware. And what does the firmware do? The firmware allows the software to talk to the hardware, right? What is the hardware comprised of? Various components, yeah? The software utilizes all of these components, yeah? So it is the firmware that is the go between in between the software and the hardware. All right. Now let's bring it back to the human body or the mammal, right? You have, follow me, you have your spirit. You have your spirit. The 28 the 28 grams that exists within the 7-layer biosuit that you call a body, there's an animate thing that it, from my understanding, it weighs 28 grams. Okay. And that is your spirit. And it has to move this body around the hardware, right? The endocannabinoid system is the firmware, right? So the spirit seats to the endocannabinoid system. And then from there, the body does what it does. It's full of what? Systems, organisms, right? You have all your organs. Your organs. Again, go back to over here. What did it say that it did? Right? So, this is the reason why the ECS or the endocannabinoid system is really such a not talked about science. It's a not talked about thing because you'll oftentimes hear like stoners and say, "Oh yeah, you know what'll fix that, you know what'll cure that, weed," right? Right? There's this kind of like this joke about stoners and shit, right? Where they say that they'll say that weed cures everything. Well, the science suggests that weed has a hand in helping everything, not necessarily curing it, but aiding the body in ridding a dis-ease, right? So, it could, I don't know. We're going to continue this article here, right? And by the way, anything and everything that we're talking about on this live stream tonight, disclaimer, this is not to be used as like medical advice or something. We are purely just reading from articles and I'm giving you my take on it. Please consult with a medical professional for any conditions that you may have. In disclaimer. Okay. In fact, recent investigations have revealed that this microcosm behaves as a bridge that behaves as a bridge between natural mind and body healing. What was I just telling you about the two aspects and what it is that it essentially bridges? Okay? Look, man, your boy's been fucking with this plant for a long time. Thomas Edison once said, "You can't improve on nature." Was he right? Does the endocannabinoid system have the natural ability to relieve people of many modern worries? I think it's worth considering. Research suggests that the ECS controls multiple states of consciousness. To name a few, the ECS controls sleep and wake cycles, emotions, pain perception, attention, and other important neurobiological processes. And this is a graphic of what the endocannabinoid system is. Why should we care about the ECS? What is it that nobody is talking about? Let's see. The human endocannabinoid system. CB1, okay. Endocannabinoid system consists of two receptors called CB1 and CB2. These receptors are found on cell surfaces and impact various biological processes. CB1, located in the brain, central nervous systems, and many other parts of the body. CB2, found throughout the body on cells associated with our immune system. Now, I'm going to do something real quick. Give me just a second. I want to. Ooh, I'm so tempted to do it. Um, okay, just a quick depart. There's live streams that we did in the past. You'd have to go back in the catalog from about 4 years ago. Look up the COVID-19 cannabis live streams that Mike and I were doing around that time. Okay, when COVID first happened, the early reports were that the best treatment for COVID was hemp. I'm not even bullshitting. Look that up. CBD. Oh, matter of fact, what was I just saying? Uh, CBD is one of the primary cannabinoids found in hemp. It interacts with CB1 and CB2 receptors for many effects still being studied. C19 was one of them, and the preliminary results came back. Basically, take some CBD and some zinc and some vitamin C, and you'll get over it. Yeah, look that up. I'm not even bullshitting. And this right here is even suggesting that what I'm saying is true. But don't believe me. Go look that up. The endocannabinoid system is a chemical communication system with the goal of maintaining homeostasis. Homeostasis, for those of y'all that this is a very technical term, which essentially means balance. Homeostasis keeps the internal environment stable, regardless of how the external environment fluctuates. See, this is why you should, you know, look, dude, we're Californians. We catch hell for being high all the time, but homeostasis, man. You always want to be chill, even when times are not, man. You know what I'm saying? Even though times may not be chill any fucking way, it's better for your health. Cannabinoids such as CBD found in CBD extract help to maintain homeostatic balance at every level of biological life. Okay. See, listen. How are you gonna really sit up here and say, well, we're just finding out, we're just studying, and you've determined that it helps maintain a homeostatic balance at every level of biology. These are bullshit, because there were medicines back at the turn of the 20th century, right, in the late 1800s going to the 1900s. The old recipes for NyQuil, for example, there was I forgot what the alcohol content was, but it was a ratio of 1 to 1, that and cannabis indica extract, right? The active component actually was the cannabis indica that was in it. So when they say this is bullshit, because they were using this in whatchamacallits, what do they call those, apothecaries, right? At the turn of in the 1800s, turn of the 20th centuries and stuff like that. I'm gonna do a live stream on that too. Then maybe that'll be a part of the next one, apothecaries. Um, since the ECS plays a role in neurogenesis, new brain cell growth. Hmm. The plasticity of our brain is influenced by the promotion of humor, creativity, open mindedness, and the ability to grow past limiting behavior patterns. This is some very deep shit, you guys. I gotta tell you, endocannabinoid receptors can be found all over the body, including brain, organs, connective tissue, glands, and immune cells, and potentially many others.
Madlib invasion.
Chronic stress weakens and damages the normal function of the ECS to stimulate that natural release of cannabinoids, which your body already produces. You can participate in mind body practices. An easy way to stimulate the ECS is through cannab- cannabimetics. Say that real fast. Cannabinoids from plants such as CBD in the form of CBD oil drops. Or you can do like me, you twist it up and smoke it. Put it in like a glass bowl because you can like get the flavor and the taste of the terpenes to really savor. You could do that too, but I suppose CBD oil drops are cool as well. Okay, popular mind body activities that release natural and endocannabinoids also include meditation, yoga, deep breathing, receiving a massage. Osteopathic manipulation, right? So that's essentially movement and stimulation of muscles and your lymphatic pathways. I can tell you a lot about how I know that. Because my wife, or the cancer that she had was lymphoma, right? So there is a particular massage called lymph massage. Okay, it is a particular technique of massage where what you're doing is there are meridian and zones where there are large lymph passages, and what you're trying to do is massage lymph fluid through the lymph nodes and these lymphatic pathways to get the fluid down into the bladder so that it can be put out, because the lymphatic system channels cellular waste from various parts of the body to go into your urine so that you can pee it out, right? But if you like, so for example, people that have edema, that's a buildup or a backup of lymphatic fluid, right? So they have to use like compression socks, and they have to use like they have to go through things like lymphatic massage to massage the fluid into the kidneys, so then the kidneys can flush it into the bladder and then out. It's some crazy shit, man. I'll tell you. Eating organic food. I've been doing a lot of that lately, and it's really showing some results. Avoiding plasticizers added to water bottles, tin cans, and food pack. Jesus Christ, it's damn near everything. Ugh. Is the ECS a valid system that deserves intense study? Well, I would think so, given with all this other shit we just read.
Oh no. Here
There's
we
a
go.
doggy getting some
So,
CBDs.
what happened to
Get
the
it, pup.
music?
Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Wait a minute. Let's see here. What zone you said? Okay. How do I feel about weed cartridges? No bueno, man. I'm not into carts, bro. I like flower. I like the actual plant, right? I either like the dried and cured bud, or I like to grow the plant myself and then like make my own like weed oil and shit. Literally just take the bud, dry it, um, cook it down in some coconut oil, and then use the oil, and then I just make cookies with the shit and get completely baked. Wait, you said some of this is beyond my understanding. I just want to know, will it get me high or not? Hell yeah, it will. Okay, let me pull it back up here. All right, cannabinoid receptors are common. Wait, are common in both animals and humans. Mammals, birds, fish. What? Fish and reptiles all have endocannabinoid systems that require proper levels of cannabinoids to function properly. Wait a minute, dude. So you can give alligators weed? I want to see an alligator stoned and a fish. What the- okay. We operate at peak. We operate at peak levels when we feel normal and properly balanced. Absolutely. Being sick or unsettled at any level of mind, body, emotions, etc., is unnatural. Listen, the herb is for the healing of the nation. Okay, this is, dude. Like being off kilter and shit. Like, okay, look, let me just digress real quick, dude. Fuck it. Like, let me just put this on the wood, right? This is why I'm like hella like critical of like all of, like the crazy shit that people will get off saying in like like the manosphere spaces and stuff. When you just like a whole bunch of unhappy people congregating and shit. Like there's a dude having a live stream. He's a brutally honest black man, right? And he him and that whole cohort, they're on that shit right now, right? And it's not good, dude. It's not natural. It's unnatural, right? It's unnatural, dude, and it's just not good. Our most normal and natural state of being is strength, health, and happiness. Absolutely. Are doctors responsibly talking about how to utilize the available information about ECS to improve our health? Fuck no. In summer of 2013, Dr. David Allen's team surveyed all 157 accredited American medical schools in all 50 states. The survey was designed to discover what medical students were being taught about the endocannabinoid system. Oh, holy hell, watch this. The results were predictable. They found that only 21 of the 157 schools even briefly mentioned this shit. Now, god damn it, dude, let's just hold on 1 second. How the hell do you have this system in your body, right? That does all of this shit that we've been just going over, and only 21 of 157 schools even briefly fucking mentioned it? What? What is going on? Yeah, what time is it, dude? What the hell? Amazing. This is amazing. Fortunately, there are doctors like Dr. Allen who choose to retire from performing surgery to properly validate a study of the ECS. How do we measure endocannabinoid levels and what is the right amount? There's no such thing as a right or wrong amount. You'll know you had enough if you go to sleep. Okay. That's how weed works. You go to sleep when you had enough, when you've had it's not too much. It's just when your body's like, all right, we got it. Boom, you're out of here. Several methods are available to measure human and animal endocannabinoid levels. Measurement methods range from simple to complex, no pun intended, um, and each has its pros and cons. Taking endocannabinoid measurements is challenging because endocannabinoids tend to disappear quickly while leaving little evidence behind. How do you measure the endocannabinoid molecules that disappear so quickly? Well, wait, what the fuck? A probe and an electrode? I was gonna say something else. A pulse generator? No, this isn't how you determine that. Non-invasive methods of to measure endocannabinoid levels include testing the blood, saliva, or hair. See, I remember back in the day, that's what they did. They either tested your saliva or your hair when they were like drug testing you. Yeah, the hair one sucked because the hair that shit stays in your follicles for a long time. Now, there was a dude who made a shampoo. Okay. just dude, this is back in like the mid to late '90s, so it doesn't really matter anymore, right? But there was you if you went to the head shops, they had like the stuff you could buy to like clear your piss, or like basically cover your piss, right? So you drink it like an hour or two, and then the drug testing people got hip to when you would drink that shit, and then they started doing like a hair test thing, right? So they pull your follicles, and then they burn the follicle, and they use a I forgot what kind of flame it is. I don't know if it's argon or some gas, right? The flame would change color if there was cannabinoids detected in your fucking hair, right? Crazy, I know. So this dude, came up with a shampoo. You put it in your hair and you leave it in. Then they cut your hair and then they burn it, and then it wouldn't detect it. Ultimately, when they legalized the shit in California, they got rid of all the shit altogether. So there you go. Another little sidebar. Other more invasive methods involve measuring fresh tissue and microdialysis from a conscious brain. Fuck. A brain microdialysis involves inserting a needle directly into the brain to continuously monitor endocannabinoid concentration. Man, get the fuck out of here. Once again, how is it that you just really know you don't really know much about this shit, but then you really know to stick a needle into somebody's brain to measure the concentration? Dude, stop. You're joshing us, man. Stop it. Current research is addressing the major challenge of how to reliably measure the wide variety of endocannabinoids. I already told you. What you do is you go, well, I think it was in the live stream, the last one or the one before, how to like pick your weed strains. I told you the sniff. Go listen to that. I'm trying to put you guys up on game. Until science develops reliable methods, complex design already developed the method. Holla at your boy. To measure endocannabinoid levels, the right amount will remain unknown. I told you, it's when you go to sleep. That's when you had enough. Step one towards achieving appropriate levels of endocannabinoids is the basic awareness of clinical endocannabinoid deficiency. Problems associated with CED are extensive with a growing list of concerns. Recent research has revealed three conditions that are almost entirely a result of CED: migraines, fibromyalgia, and irritable bowel syndrome. What the fuck? Dr. Russo's research provides a list of disorders that could be associated with CED. What is it called? Clinical endocannabinoid deficiency. Okay, so that means if you're deficient in endocannabinoids, you more than likely have a problem shitting. Okay. Neonatal failure to thrive. Oof. Cystic fibrosis. Severe burning pain, cachaglia, brachial plexopathy, phantom limb pain. What the huh? Infantile colic, glaucoma, um, dysmenorrhea, or painful menstruation. Well, remember over here, it talked about all of that stuff with the ladies, right? Their fertility, pregnancy, postnatal, prenatal, and all that jazz. Hmm. Unexplained fetal wastage, multiple miscarriages. Oh lord. Post traumatic stress disorder. Mm. Bipolarity. Ooh, bipolar people need to smoke weed. That's their problem. I don't know. Actually, let me take that back. Mm. Depends on the strain. Depends on the strain. After you become aware that your problem might be CED related, it might be a good time to add a safe and effective plant based cannabinoid to your diet, such as CBD from CBD oil drops, CBD hemp extract, CBD e liquid, or CBD capsules. Do you want to purchase wholesale? No, we don't. This is a whole ad right there. Okay. Yeah. All right. I like how they ended that. They ended it with an ad. That was slick. Used guys. Okay. All right. This was a cool little cannabis live stream. Let's see if we got any more comments before we shut it down, man. Let's see. Oh, come on. Let's see. Complex be buying all that weed away. Shit. I don't need it. What are you talking about? I don't need that shit. I'm just telling you that it used to be out there, man. Hey, it was out there, bro. We're talking like the mid late '90s, man. Let's see here. I remember buying some of that shit at the head shop. Hey, man, Emmanuel, I didn't know you got down like that, bro. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It says it hard to make. Okay, you said, Emmanuel, you said is it hard to make weed tea? No, no, not at all. All you do, literally, is dip shit. You can just take the bud, break it up. What you want to do is you want to put it in a tea bag so that it keeps like the stuff from coming off. But I think what you want to do is put like a small little drop of coconut oil because the cannabinoid or the cannabinoids will attach to the oil in the tea and then you just drink the tea, right? But yeah, you have weed in a tea bag and then maybe you just add a little dollop. I think you could do it with agave nectar also. I think it'll work with agave nectar too. It needs a lipid. I think that's what it's called, a lipid, like an oil to attach to, right? This is the reason why also if you smoke weed okay, if you smoke weed on an empty stomach, it doesn't hit the same way it does if you smoke weed after you eat because there's food in your system and there's lipids for the cannabinoids to attach to. So you always like kind of be higher because there's more of the cannabinoids that can attach to stuff because you have oils in your system, right? So it's kind of like the same thought. You put like a little bit of coconut oil in the tea, and then you have like you just put your weed in a tea bag and you just dip it, and then it'll do is the water will separate it, but then it'll attach to the oil in the tea, and then you just drink the tea. That's how that goes. Uh, what was that? Is this on the? Okay, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Let's see, so we can match faith. There you go. Appreciate that zone. Zone just dropped a little joint right there. How to make marijuana tea. And again, you guys, this is purely informational. This live stream. We are. Well, I think Zone works in the medical profession, but listen, consult with a medical person or a professional before you do any of this crazy shit that we're talking about. Please, we're don't. You know what? Let me shut up. Oh man! Once again, you guys, it is called GT's Alive Ancient Mushroom Elixir. You you gotta fuck with this ginger and turmeric. There we go, Zone. Here, let me put this up before I close out. There you go. There you go, right there. We are not diagnosing or anything like that. This is purely for information's sake this evening. Okay. So exactly what Zone said right there. Please always talk with your doctor before trying some shit. Appreciate you, Zone. Appreciate that. Okay, y'all. With that, I appreciate y'all rocking with me this evening, man. Hopefully, you learned something. I learned some shit, right? I def learned some stuff. Boom. We're gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna leave that one up before we close out, right there. So you got it right there from Zone. Um, yeah. Hopefully, you guys learned something. I learned something, and for those of you who catch the playback, hopefully you learned something. With that, I want to thank you guys for pulling up and kicking it with your boy this evening. Please drop a like if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't, share this with your weed homies, and we will catch you on the next one. Pieces.